Shots Fired Podcast, in association with Ashy Entertainment, brings to you the Sunday Night Rant with Simon Phoenix. Tap in. Yo, what's good with it? It's your boy, Simon Phoenix, Shots Fired Podcast. Special interview for the Sunday Night Rant. I got my cousin in the building, the shortest producer that y'all know of, rocking all the parties, a.k.a. the king of the club.
Yo, what's good?
He came in horrible. I think that'd be the best part of doing these shows is the ability to watch people come into the show terribly and be like, well, I'm gonna talk my shit though.
Of course. What's the word?
Shit. No one can see that you're here. So now we have that. I just want the other person to introduce themselves.
I'm seen but not heard.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We listening, don't judge.
Yeah, because he definitely said it backwards.
Definitely said that.
I did that on purpose.
So introduce yourself. You the person that get the real introduction. I only introduce him because can't nobody see him. So they got to know what that weird ass voice in the background is.
Yeah, right.
My voice is weird.
Man, y'all know me in the streets. I got the biggest truck in the city. King of the truck life, baby. Big snow. You know what I mean? Big snow in the building, baby.
That boy said, hey, yeah, man, y'all know me in the city, man. I got the biggest truck in the city. My shit like Bigfoot, sucker.
Yeah, you know it.
Right.
That's so wild.
I feel if he had a toothpick, he'd have threw it at somebody's face.
Man, it definitely would have came off as an intro to a wrestling match, the way that started.
Hey, yo. You wait for the response.
Brother, it's going to go right into that Hulk Hogan bullshit. All right, so look, I'll bring y'all along because first off, I feel that both of y'all are intelligent. And you have enough of that intelligence that I can have a little deeper conversations than I have on my show. Mm-hmm. And so with you, Tay, yours is easy because you smart like that. Now, Jay, just because we family, I'm going to bring him on from now on because I got to have him pop up, talk his shit.
I didn't come here for this.
Hey, man.
But you're here for it.
Right. You're going to get harassed while you here. Sorry, I hate to tell you. You're never safe when you come over. You got to get some bullshit. But those things being said, I bring y'all on to have a little bit, like I said, a deeper conversation. Mm-hmm. So I have two subject matters that are very touchy in our community right now, being ICE and DEI. Mm-hmm. So I would like to start by having a conversation about ICE. Let Tay take the floor. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of chop it up on what we see going on in our community, how y'all feel about it, and our personal understanding of it. Sound good, gentlemen?
Sound good to me.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right, Tay, the floor is yours, brother.
Cool. Let me just start off by saying, like, I don't want nobody to take offensive to, like, what my opinion is and how I feel about this because I stand on both sides of the field because I am sitting in the middle of being highly affected by what's going on with ICE. But at the other end, I'm on the other side of the fence about what's reality and what's going on and what needs to be done and what don't need to be done and how it needs to be done. And the drawback of it is my family is in the mix of this whole ICE situation. My daughter's mom she's 100% Hispanic. Her parents were here illegally. They're not here now. Her mom has a visa, but she hasn't been here in so long that her visa is no longer active. So does that make her born in America that's illegal immigrants? She has two kids that's older than my two daughters. I raised them, so that's my daughter and my son. My daughter and my son are 100% Mexican. You know what I mean? Their father was deported twice.
Okay.
So does that make both of their parents here illegally? Does that snatch up them as well and take them back and they was been here their whole lives?
Right.
You know, is it right? Is it wrong? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My daughters are half Mexican. I'm an American, so they're safe. but the rest of their family
It's
is
not.
they safe.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. And I think the problem is what people are doing is they're sitting up talking to people that they think are educated or people that they think that has done their homework
Okay.
on what these laws are, and they haven't. They listened to another person tell them something and they ran with it.
Without doing their own research.
Exactly. And that's the problem what I feel like with us as black people. We just listen, run with it, add with it, and then throw it around. And then now you got everybody in pandemonium about this, like, what's going on? And be like, yo, that's not even what the bill said. You see what I'm saying? That's not even what's going on or what they making it
Out to be.
Yeah, exactly. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So
I can understand that. From my point of view, I see it as very touchy. It's definitely a slippery slope.
yeah, definitely.
For me, I always use the analogy for people like this. It doesn't matter how or why you committed said whatever the crime is.
Yeah.
There is a counter to all your crime. There is something to pay for that.
Right.
And when you have this kind of conversation, a lot of people want to omit the crime portion of it to get to the I want to feel better because we're talking about human beings. Mm-hmm. And I'm a person that says, no, you got to start with the crime shit because it's how we got here. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't have got here if you didn't commit the crime first. Yes. That this is set up in a way, and I say this to people all the time, there are people who come into this country every day legally. You can't break in my back door and then demand that I make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It's not going to happen.
You are in the wrong at that point. And so now people are like, well, they here. Well, yes, they are here. But if you're letting a large portion of these people come in and then you as the taxpayer is going to pay for the housing, you the taxpayer going to pay for they got food stamps, you the taxpayer going to pay for you moved them to another part of America that could take the influx of individuals.
Colorado.
You still paying for all of this shit. It came out your pocket. Mm-hmm. So you got the right to complain. Mm-hmm. And for the people that you know somebody and it directly affected you, my heart goes out to you. Yeah. But still, it's the same as you know your little cousin so dope and he catch a case and go to jail. I can feel sad because I'm losing my cousin, but I still understand that he committed a crime. He has to pay for that.
Exactly.
This is that situation, and we can't let it get marred up in how we feel. And I think that's the biggest issue is people are so trapped in their feelings, they're not using any logic to say, no, that's still wrong, even if I don't like it. Jay, you got any thoughts over there?
Hold on one second.
Okay.
And I could be wrong. I feel like people got so much to say because Trump passed the law. And I think so many people are just against everything that he stands for, that he does, and everything about him. But let's just be honest. Trump said this before the election, correct? Did you see the Mexican women that voted for him? Yeah. More Mexican women voted for him than I think white women did.
Hey, man, the outpouring.
You see what I'm saying?
The percentage swung from something like 12% of Hispanics last time voted Republican up to something like 35%. They're saying that the women vote for the Republican and Latino women went from somewhere like 10% to 31%. They was talking about how big those jumps were.
It was crazy.
But I knew that he was going to resonate with people that were concerned about the bottom line.
Yeah.
There is a group of us that we don't care who it's going to affect when you messing up the money.
Yeah. And it's messing the money up bad.
And so we were having a conversation before the show and people were asking about, we were asking you about your job as being a truck driver. Mm-hmm. And you were saying that you're basically boots on the ground with seeing how foreign companies can influx what's going on into America. Can you speak to the crowd about that?
Yeah, so I'll break it down to you. So I'm a driver. I own my own truck. So I'm the owner operator. I have a dispatcher above me and we have brokers above us. The brokers are the ones that talk to the shippers or the people that shipping the goods out. And they're saying, oh, well, we'll pay y'all $6,500 to take this load from New York City to Texas. So then the broker is getting with the dispatcher and the driver and saying like, oh, well, He's making the low pay 65. He's saying, oh, I can pay you 35. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So now y'all cutting the throat of the driver when the driver should have been making, let's just say the driver should have, normally how they do it is it's 85, 15. The driver makes 85% of load. The broker, dispatcher makes the 15%. Usually is the broker gets 10, dispatcher gets 5, vice versa, whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's 80-20.
Makes sense.
But that's how it breaks down.
They're not picking up nothing. They're not moving nothing.
You're not doing anything but making a phone call.
You're making the logistical moves, but you're not doing anything physical, and you're not doing the actual work.
That's it. So now what they've been doing, like they put drivers against each other, and then you got the illegal immigrants that's over here with the trucks, and they was like, oh well, I'll do it for 25. I'll do it for 2,000.
Right.
And now they're throwing that load that way, giving it to them. Now, and the whole time, now you get a broker that's not even here in the United States. They're somewhere in wherever, you know what I mean?
Right.
In the world. So they're taking this money and they have like a 30-day window to pay a driver. So you get me and run me for 30 days and don't pay me. Now I'm arguing with you about my money, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna run for you no more. And then you did me and 100 other drivers this way. Let's just say you ran 30,000 off me in a month. You take the 30 and add 100 more drivers with it. You know what I mean? The money gets crazy. And then what's happening is they're able to just shut their LLC down, open up another one, and nothing's happening.
There's no punishment?
It wasn't before.
Okay.
But now that Trump's back in office, they're going after these guys.
As they should.
They're trying to stop this because you're running up $1 million and just gone with it.
You disappeared.
And drivers aren't getting paid.
And that in itself is the result of why your grocery bills
Exactly.
have skyrocketed
out the roof. You know what I mean? Because you think about it, the consumer at the grocery store that's getting this stuff, they're having to pay more
to cover the foolery that's going on in the pipeline.
Exactly, because now the dispatcher is trying to hike up the price. Oh, well, you know what I mean? Like, well,
they're going to pinch the pennies on their end to try to maximize their profits
as much as possible
to the demise of the rest of us.
Yep. So it's like it's a snowball effect, but I mean all of it has a part in the play of why things are going high. They're not just throwing numbers out their ass about this stuff,
right?
But it's happening because it's costing more to move it, but it's not costing more to move because the driver is not making more money.
Right. It's not an influx on the driver saying, "Oh, it cost us more money, therefore we've raised the price on you." Yep. It's starting with the brokers and based in greed because the brokers aren't even here. So they're somewhere else. So another community is benefiting from them making more money by strangleholding us as Americans.
Yeah, or vice versa. They could be like, "Oh, we'll pay $5,000," and the broker be like, "Well, man, I can't get nobody to move for $5,000, but I got somebody that do it for $5,600." Right. So now they didn't made an extra $6,000 when they weren't even paying nobody but $3,500 doing the first beginning.
Because they never changed the price on what they was gonna offer to you guys.
They just
upped the price to fill their own pockets.
They fill their own pockets,
and that's strangling.
Yeah. But that's what they do.
Well, yeah. And that is where you get the push from those people who have been listening and actually paying attention, going, no, he's putting America first. It just looks painful right now because you're relating it to thing B, which is the small, minute thing, but you can't see down the road to see how this is affecting the bigger thing. And that's kind of where we are with it. But I really appreciate you giving us a boots on the ground perspective because I think a lot of us don't have something to connect us to why it's wrong. All we know is, oh, I got a homeboy named Julio, and he been living here 30 years illegally. He a good dude. He go to work every day. He nice. He come help me fix my shit, and they trying to break him up out of here. Fuck that. I want my man to stay, and that's all we think.
But Julio been sending money home for 30 years.
Yeah.
Building
somewhere else
houses and mansions back in his country.
So he's taking care of his family on the
Yep.
super grind. I already know. Yeah. And so a lot of times you hear those stories and they're commendable in a way where you can understand it from a personal level by saying, yeah, man, I understand you come from somewhere that's that poor. You came and trying to make a better life for yourself and everybody else. But at the end of the day, you started the journey by breaking the law.
Yeah.
And that has an effect because of you broke the law.
Exactly.
And a lot of people just can't get past that.
But it's sad.
Oh, it's definitely
Because at the end of the day, they don't care about us.
No, I mean you have a lot of communities that don't care until the fire is put on them or someone points it out. Yeah. I've been seeing very recently a lot of Asian Americans telling other Asian Americans you need to respect Black America because you got your civil rights from them. That you were played twice by history. You were played the first time after slavery. They thought they were going to replace cheap labor with Chinese cheap labor. And the Chinese was like, no, you're going to pay us the right pay. We ain't playing that. They put them up out of America then. That's when they built the railroads. Mm-hmm. Turned back around, brung them back in right before World War I, excuse me. Brung them back in. Hey, we trying to get rid of the Black people again. We need y'all to do this. Then they put them in concentration camps and whatnot. And then they let them out again. And most Americans don't even know that the Chinese immigrants, that they were slaves. Yeah. And then secondly, they have called for them to come to America, put them out, called for them to come to America again, put them out. Yep. And then the last time when they came under the guise of getting citizenship, and therefore they stayed, and they have been prosperous Americans ever since, those that have came. But most people don't even know this. And so Asian America, specifically Chinese Asian America, has been saying, hey, look here, bro. For those of you who secretly are racist, for those of you who talk that shit behind closed doors, your ass need to respect Black America because your civil rights is directly attached to them. And I always tell most people that is most of the civil rights shit in general. Mm-hmm. Everyone else got on board after you came through and got sprayed. After you were bitten by the dogs, all the bad shit that happened to you, they benefited. So now you're in a time where you're looking around and some of these groups, and I'm not saying everyone in the group, but some of these groups don't even like you like that. And they're benefiting off of your sweat, your blood, your tears. And then you get into the secondary conversation we want to have, which is DEI. Because a lot of you think it's directly connected to Black America, and it's not. If you go look at the statistics of it, white women are at the top of the fucking food chain when it comes to DEI.
Explain what DEI is.
So, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, a lot of Black Americans think that was the replacement for affirmative action, but it's not.
They just say diversity and just think,
and ran with it.
That's us.
That's us.
So cool. They ain't even know what the third part, the second part of it even meant.
They don't know that it's actually two demons on two different sides of the street causing havoc. Yep. Now, on one side of the street, you have what you would consider government. And DEI working in government has turned into, you have more women using the DEI to get into positions that they might not necessarily qualify for. And I'm not saying that all these women are unqualified. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is there have been those people, right? And I think most people can acknowledge that.
Of course.
Now, when you look at what Black America thinks, we think it's us. We think we the main beneficiaries.
They're kicking us out the government.
But when you ask who is getting this help, you go look at the Harvard stats of how many Asian Americans used it. They vastly outnumbered any Black people that used it. Mm-hmm. They were the number one group of people that were using it. So when you start to unpack this shit, you start to realize that statistically, we're at the bottom end of the people actually using DEI. But then there is another component. And I have been watching the other component for years because it directly affects entertainment. Specifically, your action movies and your companies that do what people would consider artsy movies, right? In that genre of movies, these people have figured out a way to go to major corporations and have them basically get a report card. How much DEI are you doing? How many women are in executive positions? How many shows are directly have women as stars? How many of the LGBTQ will be included in these things? You get a rating for that. Mm-hmm. Guess what group of people don't help you qualify? Black males, white males. They have gotten the men out of there, and that's why you don't see as many strong male heroes in current movies right now. And then you go look at the box office. And the box office tells you that The movies that have all the male bravado do great. Just go ask Tom Cruise and the last Top Gun movie, Maverick. The movie that y'all thought wasn't gonna do shit. Everybody with a swinging dick showed up and made that movie make money. It's still one of the highest movies you can watch on Paramount streaming, and that's one of the worst streaming networks there is. Dead ass.
I think Hulu's worse.
Nope. Hulu getting that bonus because they're part of the Disney package.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people watch Hulu because they getting Disney and they're part of the same thing. It's a 2-for-1. So I keep telling people.
Okay, Amazon Prime.
Now that might be the worst. You might be right. That might be. No, Tubi.
Tubi is it? I was waiting.
Tubi, oh my God.
Tubi is your uncle's bootleg movie collection ran all day long. You gonna get a Master P movie.
Don't tell no black woman. Oh God.
They definitely were parodies of
You
everything.
know what I'm saying? You gonna get a parody of a Master P movie on Tubi. That's what you gonna get. That's how bad Tubi is. That's how wild.
Have you
Tubi
seen them
is.
South African movies?
Yes. It's worse than the Bali movies. At least the Bali movies be super entertaining.
Yeah.
At least they'll break out and dance for no reason.
Middle of nowhere. Just
You watch one of them crazy South African movies, you don't know what the fuck be going on.
You know what makes me think? Is this how the fuck they look at us?
Bro, I'll be thinking yes. Bro. They have the worst crime dramas I've ever seen. It's just bad.
Look, and then they have a light skin, they're gonna cover it look like Ice-T.
Always. They swear to God that we only sign light brights. That's all we like over here. But so you get all this stuff with DEI, and no one understands it. They don't see it on the entertainment end. And then they have people like me who are nerdy that pop up and be like, well, that's why Star Wars was failing. You picked a girl, you said that she was gonna be dope. You didn't show us how she got to be dope. She flying vehicles she's never seen before, like an expert.
How the hell she started?
How you get in the Millennium Falcon? You've never flown this thing ever in your life. You've never seen one of these. You just in this bitch making it barrel roll. You just the baddest. Come on, man. You made her a Mary Sue because you wanted to make her as powerful as Luke was instantaneously. She didn't do the hero's walk, but that was based on DEI. And so it failed. Star Wars couldn't move those toys. They couldn't move that shit. That shit became what those of us who are nerdy call shelf warmers. That's what this shit turned into. And so you had this fight going on in corporate America of these things. And a lot of people was waiting for DEI to die because they're saying, hey, I'm sorry that I'm a white guy, but I understand Robotech. I've been a fan of Robotech my whole life. I think I should run it to give you the best quality thing you want for those who want Robotech or whatever the sci-fi thing is. Don't bring in some random girl that don't give a fuck about Star Wars and tell her to write you a movie. Right. She gonna write you some weird shit because she weird.
And don't know shit about one.
And don't care nothing about the lore.
Nope.
And then you mad at us, but you did it so you could say we had a diversity hiring. No. If you really wanted to work hard at diversity hiring, you would scour the planet for the one nerdy Asian dude that loves Star Wars, the nerdy black dude that said, I've been watching this my whole life. This is what I am. And then you say, we found him. Those people exist and they're great at their jobs. Yep. But you don't go get some nobody who don't care. They got their own agenda and then put them in charge of these major franchise, these tent poles. That's what they call them, these tent pole franchises, because they hold up the whole business. And then they fail. And then you stand around going, I don't know what happened. I seen people floating around like Mary Poppins in Star Wars in space. You're supposed to be dead, but she just floating to a whole nother ship. We don't know what happened, why this movie failed. That's why it failed. That's exactly why didn't nobody want to watch this shit. How you go from a movie that the first movie come out, you make something like $2 billion. The second one come out, you make like something like $600 million. The third one come out, you barely get to $500 million. And we talking about Star Wars. Yeah, you fucking the bag up. Because you're more concerned about the diversity instead of the product. And unfortunately, that's not how things work. You're supposed to start off with, I want the best person for the job.
Exactly.
Let me say that again. You want the best person for the job. Those of us who ain't racist, I don't care if they're blue, brown, purple,
Don't matter.
got horns on their head. I don't care. I just want the smartest person in the room. I always say to people, do you want a doctor that got a C+ touching your heart? Or do you want the dude that got an A+ and he been successful his whole career? If he came from India, guess what? Please give me the Indian brother. Please let him save me. Do not give me Bob, who barely passed medical school, because he's Ethiopian. You want him to now touch on my heart. Man, you better get the fuck away from me. And I think that's the bigger gripe. Now, I let y'all have the floor. I got mine off. I feel good.
But I want to go back to the first subject.
Okay.
Because I never told y'all how I felt.
Okay.
And let's just be honest. There is no other country in this world that you can go just drop off your seed in their country and get citizenship. So why is it that y'all think that we should do it here in America just because we've been doing it? But why is it an issue to feel like we should keep doing it when no other country allows us? You can't even go over there and get assistance from them. Go to Dubai. Now, Dubai is a great example. They pay for their health insurance. They even buy them houses if they citizens. You go to Dubai and yell too loud in public, you going to jail.
Straight to jail.
You go to Dubai and a female got showing too much of her skin,
Straight to jail.
if you go to Dubai and you kiss a woman and y'all ain't married,
Straight to jail.
Damn.
you break the law in
So,
another
Jay, you would have been in jail for life.
You go over there and break the law in their country
Mark that off my
and
list.
you
Nah.
going to jail.
And then they going to put you out.
Maybe. They might hold you for 10 years. You know what I mean? But,
I mean, you could get out here and be like Britney. You could go to Russia and show your ass and see what happened.
hey, I mean,
And see what happens.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I just know the rest of the world's not playing with you.
they're not.
So I don't understand why people think it's okay to come over here and play with us.
Because we promoted it as the land of the free.
Yeah, but that don't mean you freely allowed to steal me.
The American dream is really
Or should I say steal from me?
the world's dream of what they want for themselves.
I think everyone
That's
thinks that
the
we
American
got it.
dream.
I think that everyone thinks that we're lick over here, that we can be pimped and hustled out of our bread,
Yeah,
and they want to try us.
exactly.
And I think that a lot of people don't understand that we have a president that's like, oh, I'm not about to let you do that if I can help it. And they don't see it like that because a lot of them don't understand how a lot of the shit works.
I don't think other countries have a big diversity of race in their country like we do.
Not at all.
No. And I think the race issue with America.
Do you know what our people's go-to thing is to say? And has always been since he's been in office? He's racist.
We always.
Well, I mean, he wasn't.
mean-
I always tell people how is this guy racist, but he helped Jesse Jackson by damn near paying for his run to be the president. Why would you throw millions of dollars away on somebody you didn't think was going to be the
At a
president?
nigga with a dry perm. Why would you do that?
Talking like this. That's you just gonna throw your money away for that?
Randy Watson.
Come on, man.
It was a tax write-off.
He hanging out with Mike Tyson. You hanging out with Mike Tyson? You a racist? Mike Tyson was wild.
he
you
is.
fucking with Mike Tyson for shits and giggles, but you hate niggas.
Because you say you try to pull that shit with
Man,
him, he
listen.
beating your ass.
You can't, man. Mike can hit him up.
Michael,
the wrong
wait.
thing, and he gonna snap.
Bro, Snap City.
Oh, you think that shit funny?
And Mike tell you off jump. He
Yeah,
fuck with Donald Trump like that. They've been cool for years and years and years. I just kept telling people,
That's the most pro-black motherfucker I've ever seen in my life.
I just can't get my head wrapped around that people have logistically the whole time